Hello students, welcome to the chemistry sessions and we are going to discuss the questionnaire today. Questionnaire related to haloalkanes and arenes. We have covered the NEAT pattern. So let's move on to the JEE main pattern exercises for haloalkanes and arenes. I hope you all have revised the concepts and now let's take up the first question. Now, what does the question say? The product of the reaction given below is, that is the reaction over here, you need to have the product for it, that means the value of X. Let us just analyze what is the reactant and what are the reagents that are used over here. So you need to have a proper mechanism hold over this question. This question is very, very important. That means it involves what? NBS. What is NBS? It's N-bromosuccinimide. So I have got this as my reactant. So that is the reactant over here. This is nothing but a bond line formula. It has got 3 methyls over here. Now I need to have the mechanism to this reaction and it involves N-bromosuccinimide, that is so that is nothing but N-bromosuccinimide. So it is N-bromosuccinimide. So basically what is the use of N-bromosuccinimide? It is used for allylic halogenation. So I hope you all remember this. It is used for allylic halogenation. That means, what is the allylic position over here? If I consider this as the double bond, so what is an allyl first? Allyl is CH3. If I take up in the case of aliphatic, so here it's CH3, CH. So that is what allylic is. And if you want the allylic position, so if I say that this is propene, that means where the allylic position exists, the allylic position must be existing over here. So just like here in this case, I have got the allylic position as well. That means I have got 2 allylic positions instead. That means these are the doubly bonded carbons and here I have got 1. So that is 1 allylic position and the other one over here. So we have got the allylic positions. I just need to attach the bromines over here. Either the bromine will come here or the bromine will be attached over here. So that is what we want to do. Now let's first move on to the mechanism. So the mechanism says I need to generate the free radical at the allylic position. So the first mechanism would be first step, generation of allylic free radical. That means I have got 2 possibilities over here. One is this, one is this. These are the allylic positions. So these are the allylic positions that we have got. And let us just have the generation of what we need here. First will be generated somehow like this. So there will be a hydrogen here. It will go off something like this, generating a free radical over here. So there will be a free radical generation here. That is the first case. What is the second case? I need to generate the free radical over here. So that is the other case. So I hope you all are following up. Here is the free radical generated. Now this free radical will be actually resonance stabilized due to this presence of this double bond. So it would be something like this. That is how it is going to be. So it would be like this. There will be a resonance stabilization. Now the radical comes up here and the double bond gets attached over here. And there will be the remaining group. So I hope you all are following up very well. So in this very case, what is happening? again, that is how the resonance stabilization in the case of free radicals will be. So that will be, I'll be getting a structure something like this. Double bond here and a free radical generated over here. So that is how my compound will be in the case of free radical halogenation. Now I need to attach the bromines. So where the bromine will get attached? So if you observe this N-bromosuccinimide, I can have a free radical over here as well. That means I get a Br free radical which will get attached on either of the two. So the point is where I need to attach it. So if you observe this very case, number 1 case, number 2 case. If I generate the radical over here, you can see there is a donating group, that means plus I effect of this group, as well as there is the resonance. That means here there is two-way stabilization of this free radical as compared to there is only one-way stabilization. That means this very free radical is more stabilized, the bromine will get attached over here. I hope that is clear to you. Over here there is two-way, that means from here also there is resonance stabilization for this free radical. From here also, due to the plus I effect of this very group, we get the stabilization. That means this free radical will be generated definitely due to its stabilized thing. And over here there is only stabilization through the resonance. That means this is more predominant product, and what we get here is the attachment of Br, and finally my resultant product will be over here. The bromine will be attached over here. Or I can say what? If I consider the free radical formation and its stabilization, so the bromine might have get attached over here. So let us just first observe the options what we have. I have got options. These are having no kind of a group, having double bond O, having OH and having COOH. So as you observe number 2, the step number 2 is nothing but the hydrolysis. So the bromine which get attached somewhere, it will definitely be replacing due to this very second step and into OH. OH will be substituted instead. That means out of all, definitely we have this as the correct option. So let us just observe how we get this option. So we get this option like, okay, now if you have got the stabilization here in this case, it would be something like the bromine attached over here, or else I can have a bromine attached over here. So if you look at the option carefully, I'll be having a double bond here. That is the option that we are getting. That means what? I'll be getting a generated radical over here. Where is the generated radical over here? It's this very step. That means this is my favorable product over here. I hope you all have got it. You just need to dig into the mechanism to find out the answer, or just by looking on to the options you can eliminate few. So we have got the answer as B is the correct option. Let us just move on to the next very question. So what do we have? A very simple question. The synthesis of alkyl fluorides is best accomplished by. So I've got a Finkelstein reaction. I need to form alkyl fluoride, RF. So as we all know that direct fluorination for alkyl, if I say I need to form RF, that is the alkyl fluorides. So the direct fluorination of alkanes, direct F2 for alkanes, it is a very exothermic reaction first of all. Also it is very explosive due to the smaller size of fluorine atom. That is why we take up the halogen exchange reaction instead. So we take up halogen exchange reaction. So for that we have a particular kind of a reaction, not in Sandmeyer. It is actually the formation of benzene diazonium chloride, leading to what? Aromatic compounds, or I can say aromatic halogens, or I can say haloarenes. So basically in the Sandmeyers I get haloarenes as the product. If I look on to the free radical fluorination, definitely this is not our choice because it could be explosive. So this is not our choice, explosive. I need to find out between the Schwarz and the Finkelstein. As we all know, the Finkelstein is actually due to the formation of, in Finkelstein we form iodoalkanes, that is our prime motive. But over here in the Schwarz, what do we get? We get a fluorine product. How? In the Schwarz we have, let us just say CH3Br in the presence of, if I take up AgF, that is a halogen exchange reaction, typical halogen exchange. Halogen exchange reaction, or I can say COF2 or Hg2F2. So lot many number of reagents can be used and we get the exchange of these halogens, and finally we get the fluorine product, that is CH3F. So that is what the Schwarz reaction is. In order to prepare the fluorine products, in order to prepare the alkyl fluorides, we typically use this reaction because the direct fluorination is not possible. So that is what our answer is. I hope you all have got this. Let us just move on to the next very question. Question number 3, super easy question if you all know the mechanism for SN2 reaction. So now the question says, in SN2 reactions, the correct order of reactivity for the following compounds. I need to have the reactivity. So you all know what is the reactivity here. I have got 4 options here. They have given 4 compounds. So if you observe the compounds carefully, this is what kind of a carbon? This is 0 degree carbon. This is what? Primary. A carbon attached to 1 carbon, that is primary. A carbon attached to 2 carbons, that is secondary. A carbon attached to 3 carbons, that is tertiary. So we have got 4 kinds of carbons and we all know the reactivity order for SN2 reaction. What is it? It is the primary carbon, secondary and tertiary. And in the cases where the 0 degree carbon is also taken, then it would be having the highest reactivity order. Why? Because this is the order for SN2. Because in SN2 it's one step reaction. So due to the one step, there is a backside attack of the nucleophile. That means I need to have the least steric hindrances. So it favors least steric hindrance, least steric hindrance. And that is what we need to have. Let us just, as per the given questions, as per the given options, we need to find out our answer. So it would be 0 degrees followed by primary. So where the 0 degrees are? Over here in these 2 options, followed by primary, secondary and then tertiary. Primary, secondary and then tertiary. So I hope you all have got the answer. It's super easy question. So that is how the actual scenario of questions is in JEE Main. It's not a rocket science that you are not able to solve the questions. Once you get the mechanism, it's hardly a minute question. You can just have an answer just by observing the options only. You need not write the answer in your rough pages. So now let's move on to the next very question. What does it say? Again you can see SN1 somewhere. So mostly the substitution, nucleophilic substitutions as well as the eliminations are actually the core of this very chapter. So you need to have a proper hold over these mechanisms. So it says the increasing order of the reactivity of the following halides. That means they have given the halides. I need to have the increasing order of reactivity. Which halide out of the 3 is mostly reactive towards SN1? Here I am talking about the SN1. So we all know that SN1 is actually the formation of carbocation. SN1 is associated with formation of carbocation. So what will be the approach in such questions? The direct approach will be, you need to first of all obtain the carbocation, then see the stability of that. So we'll obtain the carbocation, then I remove the chlorine, I get the carbocation. Again I remove the chlorine, I get the carbocation. Again I remove the chlorine and get the carbocation. So let us just analyze these carbocations, which one is more stable. So as you can see over here, it is secondary carbocation, this is primary carbocation, and over here, let me just expand the structure. What is it actually? So just draw with me simultaneously. It is somewhat like this. On the para I have got OCH3 and on to the, yes, again on the para I have got a carbocation and this is phenyl. So we have got 3 options. As we all know, what is the order for stability? Carbocation order, tertiary followed by secondary followed by primary. That is what we have. And as I told you in my sessions, if you have followed up, even more stable than the tertiary is the benzylic carbocation. Why? Because it is resonance stabilized. So it is resonance stabilized. So we have got the answer over here. This is nothing but resonance stabilized. Resonance stabilized. And what? Over here this is primary, it will be least. Secondary would be more than the primary one. It will be having a higher reactivity than the primary one. So it's the least. Second one is the least. So find out. I've got 2 options over here. Second one is the least. And the third one is the highest reactivity order. Having the highest reactivity, it's the third. I've got my answer over here, that is D. I hope you all have got it too. Let's move on to the next question. What do we have in the next question? So these are quite simple questions once you know the mechanism. So what do you have? Okay. Now you are going to judge that what kind of a mechanism will this follow. 2-chloro-2-methylpentane. They have given a compound on reaction with sodium methoxide in the presence of methanol. So they have got the reagent as well, sodium methoxide, and they have got the solvent as well, that is the methanol. You need to find out what is the yield, what are the yields. So they have given 3 yields over here. You can see in 2 yields there is a double bond, that means this is the eliminated product, and in 1 yield this is the substituted product. So that is substituted and this is what? Eliminated. And over here as well I have got the eliminated product. So we have got 3 possibilities. We need to judge that what all possibilities are possible here in this case of a reaction. So the reaction is 2-chloro-2-methylpentane. Let me just draw the structure. 3, 4, 5. 2-chloro-2-methyl. That is what we need to have. So that is the compound over here. I need to perform the reaction. So the reaction says, I've got the reagent. The reagent is sodium methoxide, that is this, in the presence of methanol. So it's CH3OH. You need to perform the reaction. So if you observe very carefully over here, it will be the formation if I try to form a carbocation over here. The carbocation formed will be a tertiary one. So it will be a tertiary carbocation if I try to remove this chlorine. That means this reaction, this very compound will follow up not SN2 but SN1. This will follow SN1 mechanism. Just merely by looking onto the compound, I have decided that it will follow SN1. Also, what we can correlate is that here if you see the solvent, it is polar protic. That means again an indication of SN1, polar protic solvent. And this is a weak base. So it's a weak base, sort of a weak base you can say, not hindered at all. That means all the things are indicating towards the SN1 mechanism. So you need to confirm your all the things which are given in the reaction in order to have a proper answer. So we can now perform the reaction. So if it is trying to form a positive carbocation, which is tertiary carbocation here in this case, that means I have got how many kinds of possibilities. So if you have followed up my lectures, you might have seen that the nucleophilic substitution reactions as well as the elimination go hand in hand. There is the possibility of each and every reaction, but the yields can differ. Some product will be major, some will be minor, but definitely every reaction will be having an eliminated product as well as substituted. That means if I have got a carbocation like this, so that is the carbocation which is going to get formed. So it can have an eliminated product. What kind of eliminated products will that be? I will be getting 2. That is the one that we can have. The other one can be a double bond over here. That is how it goes. I have got 2 eliminated products. What about the substituted? So substitution will be when there will be the attack of base. CH3O negative will be the base over here, and I get the substituted product as this OCH3 coming onto here. So these are the 3 possibilities that we can have over here. A very, very important question, and all the 3 options can be a possibility. Let us just check out the options given in the question. So the options are, let me just rub this off. It says A option, all of these, B option 1 and 2, 3 option, 3 only, D option 1 and 2. And we all know that all the 3 can be the possibilities. We have formed the right products over here. So I have got my answer as A. So I hope you all have got this. So whenever there has been a question that whether there will be an eliminated product or a substituted one, so you need to have the answer that there can be possibility of each and every kind of a product, only the yields differ. So if it has been asked in the question that what is the major one, then you can go for either substituted or eliminated as per the condition, but otherwise you have to consider all. So I hope you all have got this. Let's just move on to the next. What do I have? So this question seems to be so much complicated. So let us just read this loud. The major product obtained in the following reaction is. So I need to find out the major product over here. So this seems to be so much of confusing, so much confusing options are given. As you can see, positive, negative and what not. That means positive indicating what? A D form, an L form. Positive, negative means a racemic mixture. So you need to find out so many kinds of possibilities. But just try to look over here. If you haven't observed it, but I have, it's tertiary butoxide. That means a base, something like that. That is the base they have taken. That means what? It is a super bulky base. So it's a very bulky base. Leading to what? The possibility of only one kind of product, that is the eliminated product. Yes, you've got it right. Eliminated product. And out of all the options, there is only one option having the eliminated product, that is this. You need not go into the details of this option to find out what positive or negative is. They are just trying to confuse you. That is the option over here. So I hope you all have got this right. So just observe each and everything which is given in the question. Maybe the observation can turn out to be fruitful for you. So now, let's move on to the question number 7. What do I have? 2-methylpent-2-ene on reaction with HBr in the presence of peroxide, and automatically anti-Markovnikov rule comes into mind. Forms an addition product. Again, they have said that it's an addition product. The number of possible stereoisomers. So I need to have the number of possible stereoisomers. That means, how can I find the number of stereoisomers? If I find out that how many chiral carbons are there, I can have the formula for the stereoisomers. So that would be our approach over here. So let me just draw the compound. 3-methylpent-2-ene. That means pent, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pent means 5. 2-ene, that means on to the second carbon I have got a double bond. And 3-methyl, that is what we have. And let me just complete the hydrogens over here. It's H3, sorry. The carbon would be exceeding the valency, which is bizarre. So here, that is our compound, what they have given. Now let's just try to perform the reaction HBr in the presence of peroxide. So I've got HBr in the presence of peroxide. That means what? We want to follow the free radical mechanism again. So how does the free radical take place? Splitting up these two, what do we get? We get a compound like this. That is what we are getting after the splitting. And what else? I've got a Br free radical. So where the Br free radical gets attached? It gets attached onto that very carbon which is highly substituted. So out of the two, which one is highly substituted? It is this very carbon, resulting in the formation of tertiary free radical, which will be most stable. So that is what our approach will be. This is highly substituted, or I can say having more number of hydrogens. More number of hydrogens. That will be our approach. So this is having, out of the two, this is having more number of hydrogens. It has got 1, it has got none. So what do I have? I have got my answer over here. The first step of the question is very much clear now. So it's pretty much clear. And the remaining H over here. So now, I need to find out the stereoisomers. That will be our final answer to it. So can you find out the chiral carbons over here? So if you observe this very carbon, is it chiral? No. It has got 3 hydrogens. If you observe this very carbon, it is very much chiral. So let me just have the hydrogen over here and you can observe this very well. So this is what? A chiral carbon. Again a chiral carbon, I have got 2 over here. So again a chiral carbon over here, that is a hydrogen. So I have got how many? 2, because these 2 are non-chiral. So I have got 2 and this is what? An asymmetric molecule. So for asymmetric, we already have done the formula. Asymmetric molecule. Number of stereoisomers will be 2 raised to the power n. N stands for what? The chiral carbons, which is here in this case 2. So I've got 2 raised to the power 2, that is 4 is the answer. So I hope you all have got the answer over here, that is 4. Let us just mark out the answer. So that was a very interesting question and I hope you all have followed up. Let's just now move on to the next question, which says, so here let me take up the next question. Okay, now it's pretty easy. I need to find out the absolute absolute configuration. What will it be? So it's a very simple question. I need to figure out the chiral carbons and I need to assign the priorities, and we have done ample of questions of such type. CH3, OH, Cl, H and H. So let us just try to assign the priorities here. I've got 2 chiral carbons, 1 and 2. So if you look onto the first chiral carbon and if I go by the atoms, first atom over here, first atom over here, and this very whole group will be treated as 1. So just remember that. I've got this as 1 because O is always on the higher priority than the carbons. And what else? Here if you look, I move on to this very carbon. Let me just arrange this properly. So it would be somewhat this kind of a representation. So if I move this ways and this ways, I've got a carbon, I've got a carbon. If I move further, I've got a chlorine and I've got a oxygen. That means out of chlorine and oxygen, which is on the higher side, which is having the higher atomic number, it would be definitely the chlorine. That means this whole group is treated as 2 and this is as 3. What do I have? 1, 2, 3. That means something like this. R, clockwise means R, but just be very careful, the hydrogen is on the horizontal. That means the opposite, the inverted configuration, which would be S. So it would be S here. If I look here onto this very chiral carbon, I need to assign this chlorine as number 1 definitely, and if I go then by comparing the carbons, carbon carbon equal. Now if I go further, oxygen, and here there is no atom to compare. That means again this very whole group will be treated as number 2 and this is as 3. I've got it 1, 2, 3. That means again anti-clockwise, again S, but H is on the horizontal. That means I've got it R. So S and R, I need to number the carbons as well to find out my correct option. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. That means 2S, 3R is my answer. Can you find out? 2S and 3R. Definitely we have got the option over here, which is B. So I hope you all have got it too. It was super easy. You just need to assign the priorities and that is what you need to do. Let's just move on to the second last question. Now, the increasing order of hydrolysis of the following compound. I need to do the hydrolysis. That means instead of this bromine, I need to remove the halide and I need to attach the OH group. That is what our motto is. And in the case of hydrolysis, I need to form the carbocation. So I'll be seeing only the stability of carbocation and that's it. So stability of carbocation is our approach of carbocation. That will be our approach. That means let us just remove it. Halide removal, halide removal, halide removal. Now I need to have a positive here and a positive here. And look here, I've got another option. Halide removal and a positive here. So what do I have? I've got this as, if you see it very carefully, a resonance stabilization we have got in this carbocation. So there is the resonance stabilization. We have got a very important point over here. And is there a resonance stabilization? No. So if I look very carefully, this is nothing but a secondary carbocation. And if over here, this is what? This is phenyl carbocation. So that is phenyl carbocation. Let me just draw that here. And the last very option, this is nothing but a tertiary carbocation. So tertiary is always stabler than the secondary one. We all know that. But what is more stable is the resonance stabilization. So I've got one particular order, that means this followed by this followed by this, 3, 4, 2. Where is 3, 4, 2? So if I observe it's 3, 4, 2, the least they have said for 1. That means 1, why it is least stable? Because here the carbocation is phenyl carbocation. Phenyl carbocation is always the unstable most because it has disturbed the whole aromaticity of the ring. There is no such kind of a resonance possible, but it is leading to instability and nothing else. So you must remember this point, that phenyl carbocation is always the unstable most. So I hope you all have got it, and I've got my answer too. So it's 3, 4, 2, 1. C is the correct option. Now let's move on to the very last question. I hope that would be an interesting one. So it is okay. Now it again seems to be a difficult one, but let us just observe it, whether it is a simpler one or a difficult one. The structure of the major product formed in the following reaction is what? So I need to have the structure, I need to have the product over here. So just merely by looking on to the reagents, you can judge what is the answer over here. So the reagents, if you see, it's DMF. DMF is what? Is it polar protic or polar aprotic? It is nothing but the polar aprotic solvent. So it's polar aprotic. That means what? That means this very reaction will be following up SN2. That we have observed it from the reagent itself. Now if you go on to the detail, what do you have? Always remember that the nucleophilic substitution, since this is a nucleophile, this is nothing but a nucleophile, we can confirm it from here that this is a nucleophilic substitution reaction. And in the case of nucleophilic substitution, we all know the order: primary, secondary and then tertiary for the carbons. So if I remove this chlorine, if I remove this iodine, which will be the stable most? In the case of SN2, it would be the secondary one, the primary one. What we have? Where is the primary one? This is the primary one. And where is the secondary one? This is the secondary one. So we've got another option here. Also, what I would like to tell over here is, this bond has partial double bond character as well, because this iodine is involved in resonance. That is also another factor, making it a partial double bond character developed over here. That means the possibility of breakage of this very bond is slightly less. So breakage is less. So considering all the factors, this very group over here will not break. What will break is this. Replacement will be the substitution reaction with the CN. So can I find any option over here? This is not an option because here we have got 2 CNs. I cannot have it. The substitution over here is not possible. If you look on to here, again not possible. Chlorine needs to be get substituted. And if I look over here, again I have got what? 2 CNs just bizarrely, attached onto it. So it's not also possible. What do we get? We get, considering all the facts, the very right answer is this. So that is our option. Number D is the answer. So I hope you all have followed up. Just merely looking onto the reagents, you can get the idea. Just looking on to the types of carbons, that means primary, secondary and tertiary, you can have the answers as well. So I hope the entire session is very much clear to you. So just try to revise all the questions in order to have a better practice of them. I'll be again discussing another kind of a questionnaire in the next session with you guys. Till then, have a good day.